Hey, Cami. Feeding. What's this? Hey. Come on. Ready? Are you hot? Hold on, I'll get you some water, okay? And we'll open the door. There we go. There's some air. Here's your bed. Here we go. There's your What dainty sips today?
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Caprine Cottage Knitting Podcast. My name is Anne and I'm joining you from my woodland cabin in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. I didn't expect to have 2 videos in a row filmed out here, but our neighbors are having their whole house re-sided and new windows put in, which I'm so happy for them. It's about, I think, 2/3 done and it looks so beautiful, but it also means there's an assortment of sounds happening. It's very funny. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but we do live obviously very rurally, but our one neighbor, their house is so close to our house, like we can there's trees in between, like someone planted a row of trees, but if there were no trees, we could see inside each other's windows, just like living in a town, which I think is really funny. But yeah, they're very close and they're having work done. So yeah, I thought it would be better to come out here. I'm not sure how the sound quality will be. I have the door open. I'm quite warm. It's a beautiful sunny day, but the wind is blowing. There's birds. Feeny is around. She may come in and out. I might hear tippy tapping. I might have to stop. I don't know. I'm trying to decide where to start. So I was hoping to do a little knitting. This is going to be kind of a cozy knit and chat update video. I've been a little absent. Videos have been a little slow coming, and I just want to give you guys a little update and talk about the schedule a little bit and explain where I've been. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, stay here. If not, I'll have some more farmy content, knitting content coming up, so you can check back in then. I am gonna do, my last thing I'll say about that is you will see some knitting in this, so click away at your own potential detriment. Right now is the beautiful 2 weeks in June where the multiflora rose blooms, and if you're from, I imagine, the whole Northeast or most of the US, you will know the struggles of the multiflora rose. And so it is a type of rose, but it's an invasive species, and it really takes over like hedgerows or other kind of, an unkept field. It's a lot like the honeysuckle. Here we have a, very invasive honeysuckle. And so for literally like a week or 2 weeks in June, they bloom, and that's the only time I like them. I guess also in rose hip season, but they also just don't even produce the best rose hips. So unless for like wreath making and stuff, they're great, but for eating and medicine making, they're very tiny, so it's a lot of work. But yeah, so I picked some blooms, I made some tea, that's what I'm drinking here. Feeny also loves to eat the multiflora rose, which anytime I watch goats eat thorny plants, I'm just amazed by them because it looks so unpleasant, but I guess they like it. Yeah, so I just thought I would start on that. Grab yourself a cup of tea or a cold drink. I'm sort of regretting making a hot drink right now, but it is very delicious. So I thought I would work on a project while I chatted to you and kind of updated you on some things that have been going on. And I think I was going to work on something I'm going to show you, but I got to a point where it's not something that I can work on while we chat. I need something mindless to knit while I talk to you guys. But I have barely touched any of my projects. I'll get to that in a minute, but I thought I would work on this, which is my Lazy Friday sock, which I think I started this in February. I wanted to start it in February because it's kind of like Valentine's Day colors, but it's June now. We're going with it. It can be any time of the year. But it's a ribbed sock, 1x1 ribbed sock, so it's taking me forever anyway, and I just haven't really been doing much with it. I stopped in the middle of a round even. But yeah, so I thought I would just start knitting and start chatting. I wish I had like a good explanation as to kind of where or why I haven't made so many videos, but it's been a lot of different kind of variables. I'm actually very happy that I was able to take this time and have a little break. At the same time, obviously, there's a financial aspect that's not great, but I will catch back up, I'm sure. But I guess I'll just talk about a couple of things, which is, first of all, it is spring. And even though at this point I don't work on the farm that much, there is a lot of things going on right now. We did part of our first cutting of hay last week. There is currently hay down. I think there's 2 kind of little fields down right now. So obviously that's a lot. Caleb and I have started attending the farmer's market on Saturdays again. And so, you know, I'm down a day, which, you know, 6 days instead of 7 makes a difference. So that's one reason. The other reason is just that this winter was very difficult for me mental health wise, and I have really gone back and forth with how much I want to share about that on this channel, and I'm still not totally sure, and so I'm not going to go into great detail, but I will say that yeah, it was really difficult for me. It was very cold and icy and dark, which is often the case, but I feel like it took quite an emotional toll, so I've been kind of recovering from that. And in the same vein of that is that I kind of just lost my knitting mojo. I pretty much didn't knit very much at all for almost an entire month. And so that's why you haven't seen a podcast episode, because I haven't had anything to show you really. Since then, I have, oh, there's a bug. I have started knitting again. I feel like I'm back in the groove. I feel inspired to make things again. But it just happens sometimes where you're not excited about it. You don't want to work on it. I also was just, I had to switch around some of my medications, and so I was very tired, and that made things hard because normally I knit at nighttime after everybody goes to bed. That's my knitting time, and I was just going to bed really early, and so I didn't have my normal knitting time. So yeah, that's the piece on that. I just kind of haven't been knitting, but all that is to say that in the last like 2 weeks, I'm so back into it. And it was really funny because even though I wasn't so interested in knitting, I've actually been spinning a lot and feeling very, very inspired to work on fleece processing and spinning, which is great because I feel like I have not been so interested in that in a long time. I realized I have to keep track of my rows, so I have to write it down. So that the second sock is the same length. I could count and guess too, but that gives me some kind of an idea. So anyway, I have been spinning a lot. I've been working. I'm going to show you guys. So I may have mentioned it, maybe I didn't, but I managed to spend some time organizing my stash. And so that means fabric stash, fleece stash. Yes, I have a thing. And also like a little bit of yarn. My yarn is actually pretty well organized, but it all stemmed from the fact that it's actually right behind me. I have a cedar chest and I wanted to be able to bring it out here so that I could have a place to keep things so that the animals can't get to them, like, you know, blankets, towels. I don't want them like walking on it or anything, or eating it or making a nest of it. So I had to clear out the cedar chest, but I managed to get all of my fleeces into clear plastic totes so I'm able to see them. And while I was going through them, I found actually 2 fleeces from Caleb's sister's sheep that I kind of peripherally knew I had but had forgotten. And one of them is a beautiful black Shetland fleece, and in my mind I had put it aside that it was mostly felted, And so I thought I actually did spin a few skeins and I sold them many years ago now. But then I thought that the rest of the fleece was unusable. I had kept it just in case I wanted to use it for stuffing or make felt or something like that. But I looked at it again, and it's actually, there are felted portions of it, but it's actually not that bad. I have a small portion of fleece here. I broke it out into some small portions and put it in these paper lunch bags so that I can take it with me either on a walk or to the farmer's market or whatever. But here, I'll pull off a little section so you can see some of it. This has been washed, not by me. And like I said, there are portions that are felted, but most of it is actually very nice. It has a ton of lanolin still on it. And the only trouble I'm finding is that there's a lot of second cuts. Like the shearer took a lot of second cuts. And so I am having to brush out each lock before I send it through to the drum carder. So this is what it looks like raw. And it has a pretty long staple length, which is very nice. Hi. I feel like this is becoming chaotic. She's nuzzling me. But here is the staple length of that. So you can see it's quite long. I have noticed that the tips are quite brittle, so they do kind of break off, but that's okay. It's still, I mean, you can see that's between 6 and 8 inches long. And then once it's been all fluffed and I have combed out those second cuts, it looks like this. And so I didn't bring it with me. I will share it in my next podcast episode, but I did spin one skein, and then I've just been working on processing the rest of it. My hopes and dreams for the yarn I spin from that fleece is that I will hopefully be able to have enough quantity to make myself a cardigan from it. I am dreaming of one of the cardigans from Donna Smith's book, Lang Soon. And I bought that when I was in Shetland. I think I've spoken about it before, but Donna Smith has a YouTube as well. And she has, I think there's 2 cardigan patterns in that book, and I'm not sure which one I would like to tackle. But in general, I've just been dreaming of a natural sheep black cardigan. There's a goat. Actually, specifically with a colorwork vest underneath it. I know that that is an oddly specific dream, but I think I saw a photo on Pinterest and I can't stop thinking about it. So slowly I'll be working towards that. Yeah, and I feel like lately spinning has felt mentally more quiet to me, and so I have been more drawn to doing it. It requires less thinking for me, and it brings me more peace to some extent than knitting does. Knitting also is a peaceful activity for me, but sometimes it also is a stressful activity for me, depending on what I'm working on and how much thinking is required at a given time. So yeah, all that's to say that I've been not knitting, but I've been spinning a lot. Oh, okay. She laid down right there on the little platform. So cute. Take a little video so you can see. Well, that's adorable, and never in a million years did I expect her to do that, so that was cute. Anyway, back to my now chaotic story. Yeah, so I've just been not feeling so creative, but I have been spinning, and it's kind of interesting and fun to me the way that sometimes if you're pushing too hard and you're too upset at yourself for maybe not being as productive as you would like, or making progress on things in the way that you had envisioned, you set yourself up to potentially miss the opportunity for something different to fill that space. And so I'm happy, I guess, that it allowed me to spend some more time spinning. And I'm currently trying to do spinning every day in June. I decided after this weekend that I'm taking Saturdays off from that, though, just because we work all day Saturday and it's not it's not feasible for me to have time to set aside because we're at the market until we don't get home until 4. We leave very early. And then when I get back, I need to spend all my time with my little cutie. Yeah. So I guess the next thing I will show you, this is just a sneak peek because I was going to work on it today, but then I got to a point where I told you I can't work on it while I talk, but I thought as a consolation prize I would show it to you because it's in an almost finished state and you guys haven't really gotten to see it in progress, and I assume by the time I make my next podcast episode it will be finished. I'm hoping that this will go up, well, whatever week it goes up you'll see it, but I'm hoping it's going to be this week, which is the second week in June. And then the following video is going to be another farm vlog. It's actually mostly filmed, so that will hopefully get edited and go up. And then the following week will hopefully be a podcast episode. And so I'm hoping in 2 weeks this will be finished. So I'll show it to you now so you can at least get a little glimpse of it in progress. Okay. And this is my Audrey and Unst vest by Gudrun Johnston, and I've knitted up in the most beautiful yarn. This is Scottish Yarn Festival, which is organized, operated by Eva, who I love dearly. She is an amazing online friend that has come out of this, and I have so much gratitude for all of the people I have met from starting this. The fiber arts community is very welcoming, and it means a lot to me. I feel like internet spaces can be a mixed bag, and so I'm so grateful to be part of one that is so uplifting and kind and supportive. But so my Audrey and Unst, the body is done. All I have left to do now is graft the shoulders. It's a 3-needle bind off, and then do the ribbing. So it'll be neckline ribbing, armhole ribbing, and done. I say and done. I haven't chosen buttons yet, so I have to do that. I don't know what color buttons I would like on this. I'm thinking maybe just like simple coconut buttons or some kind of, like brown wood buttons. But then I'm also tempted to put like white buttons on it, or maybe like red vintage buttons. I don't know. But anyway, yes, this is knit in Scottish Yarn Festival 4-ply, which is the fingering weight. The color is Duncan. And if you guys are interested in purchasing this yarn, the Woolly Thistle stocks this, and you will find in the description box below my affiliate link to the Woolly Thistle. And so if you make a purchase from them of anything, it doesn't have to be Scottish Yarn Festival, I will get a small commission. So I'll just a reminder that that's there. And if you're interested in making this, I'm making size 8, and I think that 2 skeins is going to be enough. This is what is left of the second skein. I had 3, and I did cake up this 3rd one, and I used a little bit of it. It's a long story. But I think that 2 would be very close to being enough yarn if you're making size 8 or smaller, I think. I'll have to update you later, but here she is. So I'm holding it together at the shoulders. And here I'll go close on one of the lace panels. It hasn't been steamed or blocked, so it's very curly. But there's the beautiful lace. And this pattern has just been a joy to work on. I don't think I will go into detail here about like process or anything. I think I'll save that for the podcast episode. But I will say that it was incredibly enjoyable. Of course, Gudrun's instructions always are the best. Any mistakes I made were my fault. And I think that I've corrected most things. I did have some hiccups along the way, which, yeah, I think I'll talk about in my podcast episode a little bit more. I don't want it to be too scattered or repeat myself. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you that because I do finally feel like I'm making progress. I haven't really tried it on yet, but I think that the size is good. Here, I'll hold it up closer to my body. It is a little hard to tell because, like I said, it's very rolly, but I think it's going to be good. So I'm really excited for this to finally be closer to being finished, and that means I'll be able to start making some progress on some of my larger whips that none of us have seen in a long time. I was gonna say that you haven't seen in a while, but I haven't seen them either. Yeah, so that's just like a tiny knitting update. I think now I've showed you all the things that I brought to show you. I have more spinning to show you, but I will show it to you in the podcast episode. And so now we'll just chat a little bit more. I hope all of you are doing well and that your summer so far is treating you well. Here the weather has also been a little challenging. We actually have a beautiful week this week, but we had one of the rainiest Mays in recent history. It rained almost every single day. Someone told me, I don't know how true this is, but that in upstate New York, we haven't had a sunny Saturday since November. Last Saturday was okay, but it did rain a little bit. And being from here, or like growing up here, I'm no stranger to rain. It's a very cloudy, rainy place here in the southern tier / Finger Lakes. So I'm used to it, but it has been a little rough. It's been really wet. The ground is so saturated. It's the wettest I've seen it in many years. So yeah, I'm behind on my gardening because of it. We're a little bit behind on farming because of it. It's been hard to get in the fields. I know some other farmers have experienced hail damage. We have had some pretty intense storms come through, but we have this, where our farm is, where our house is kind of like a funny microclimate, and a lot of time the storms actually go around us. We're very blessed and lucky in that way. But the general area experiences, or lately has been experiencing, some pretty crazy weather, and again, we're very lucky. Maybe it's not the smartest for farming, but we have very permeable soil. It has a lot of rocks in it. But so we generally don't have flooding or standing water in our fields. However, there has been a little bit, just because the groundwater, like the water table, is so incredibly high right now. So that's a little weather update, which I'm sure is contributing to my like less than super happy mood. And then yeah, I'll just give a little animal update because I'm sure some of you want to know. If you follow me on social media, you will have seen some of my posts. But also, if you're tired of hearing about this, I'm really sorry, and you're welcome to skip it. But I also know some of you are very kind and very committed to hearing about them. So I thought I would update you. But we have had more sick animals, and it's so bizarre because I think I've said this before. I've had pets my whole life. But, you know, for at least 15 years of my adult life, if not longer at this point, I have had pet cats. For the last 5 or 6 years, I have had large animals. And so never in that time, which is a pretty significant amount of time, I would say, have I ever had such a, like, string of everybody being sick all the time. And I keep being like, okay, after this, it's got to stop. Like, it can't possibly keep happening. And then it does. So after the big goats had their parasite issues, which I think is resolved, there's one goat left that I feel like could have parasites, like a high parasite load. But we're keeping an eye on him. After that, I was like, all right, I think everybody's really good now. It's going to be okay. Nobody's going to get sick. But then last week, I take Feeding for a walk almost every single day, weather permitting. I took her out on Friday. Then on Saturday, we went to the farmer's market, and it was raining when we got home. So I didn't take her out. So I didn't do the greatest job of tick checking her, which she's furry. I try very hard to check her for ticks. I don't want her having ticks. I don't want her bringing them in the house, etc., etc. Tick-borne illness in livestock is a problem. It's not a huge problem, but it does exist. And so obviously I just don't want them on my animals more than they need to be. But I apparently missed one, and I did not it must have gotten on her on Friday. I did not find it until Sunday morning. And when I found it, it was very, very irritated. Caleb and I were luckily able to remove the tick in its entirety, so that's great. I'm always terrified of part of it getting left behind if you are from an area with ticks, which I'm pretty sure is like almost everywhere now, unless you're from the very far north. You're always afraid the head or some piece will get left behind in the skin. But anyway, I could already tell that it was very inflamed, more than normal and more than I've ever seen on her, which concerned me, but I just put some basic antibiotic ointment on it and hoped for the best. The next day, it had definitely gotten worse, and by the following day, I could tell that it was full-blown infected, and what seemed to be kind of necrotizing the surrounding skin was very swollen, gross. I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't know what's appropriate to share here. Which is another, this is a tangent, but I will put it here quickly. How interested are you guys in a full, like, long length video about Feeney's story? I've been toying with the idea of filming something like that where I could tell her story. I'm hesitant for a few reasons. One is that, well, I guess there's three reasons. One is that maybe nobody cares. I don't know if that's true. Two is that to really tell her story in its entirety and be fair to what she went through, I feel like I would be obligated to share some photographs and some videos, but they are a little bit graphic, I guess, and I don't know how much of that is appropriate. Obviously, I think I could like blur some of it, but yeah, so that kind of holds me back. And then the biggest piece is just that the emotional toll it took on me, I'm still recovering from, and I haven't really felt ready yet. But lately I've been really thinking about it. So I guess if you guys would be interested, just let me know if you'd like to hear her story. I think I've said before, and sometimes people ask too, but there is a whole highlight on my Instagram about her if you want to know more now. And there's no like graphic pictures or anything on there. It's just mainly me talking about it and then showing her progress. But it's all very censored because I'm very sensitive to seeing things like that, and I would never want to, excuse me, I would never want to like accidentally traumatize somebody. So I try to be very cautious about posting things like that. But yeah, so if you're interested in hearing that, her story, and seeing some more about it, let me know. But anyway, back to what's happened to her now. So yeah, her skin was just doing very badly. It was very clearly infected. So I called the vet and I sent in my pictures, and my vet is great. I love her a lot. But she called me right back and she said, yeah, that doesn't look so great. And I told her what I had been doing, because by the third day I had switched actually to using antibiotic burn cream on her wounds, which is a stronger antibiotic. It's prescription only. But we had it on hand because burn victim. And she said, yeah, just continue using the topical. It's a great antibiotic, but also she needs penicillin injections. So that's what I have had to do for I had to do it for 7 days. We finished on Monday, and I'm so pleased to say that I think she's doing much, much better. Her skin looks really good. I can tell that it is no longer painful to her because she lets me touch it without being angry. She's a very spicy patient, that little goat. If she doesn't want you doing something, she makes sure that you know. I wish I had a better angle so you guys could see her better. She's right there. But yeah, so that happened. And then at the end of last week, our big cat, our gray cat, Nif, who I'm sure you've seen before, he has terrible allergies. It's just kind of an ongoing thing. We work with the vet about it. They there's very little allergy medication or treatment for cats. Someone on here had said that it could be, what did they say? I don't remember, liver, kidney, something like that. And I brought it up to the vet and they said, no, he doesn't have that. So his itchiness is definitely just allergies, and it definitely gets worse at different seasons. But his allergies are most like, it makes him itchy on his face. That's the worst part of it. And he scratches his face really aggressively. And he managed to hurt his eye last week, and then it was infected. So yeah, it's just been a string of more animal stuff. And so I took him to the vet yesterday, and he has antibiotic pills now and antibiotic ointment. So I thought I was free from giving an animal antibiotics, but I'm not. And so he goes back for a checkup on Friday, and we're gonna really hope that he's doing better. He's pretty sad. He has to wear a cone right now, and I actually think it's really good that he's wearing the cone because it stops him from scratching, but he's pretty pathetic. He does not like the cone. I feel really sorry for him, but it's also kind of funny. I feel kind of guilty saying that or even laughing at him because obviously he's pretty unhappy, and I love him so much and I want him to feel better, but also he's just ridiculous. Like, cats are so dramatic when you put something on them. And yesterday afternoon, after we got back from the vet, Caleb stopped home just to check on him, and he's getting more used to the cone, so he's better today. But when Caleb came home yesterday, he had just had it on for the first time, and he was being really dramatic. And Caleb said to me, he goes, "Is he drugged? Did they give him some kind of drugs?" And I was like, no, he's not at all. Like, he hasn't had any medicine. Like, he's totally fine. He just doesn't like the cone. And so we're making sure he gets, at meal times, and when we can watch him, he is without the cone. But yeah, the sick animal saga continues. And it's just, I think that when I started doing this, I kind of promised to myself that I would try to be honest and show an accurate representation to the best of my ability, and obviously, maintaining my privacy and things like that. But, to show the true reality of what our lives is like. It is beautiful and peaceful and simple, and I feel so much gratitude that I am able to live this life and experience that. But there is also chaos and struggle that comes with it too. It's not all just pretty dresses and sunshine and beautiful animals, and that's a big piece of it, and those are the reasons why I do it. But there are also hard parts. And I will say that, like, animal husbandry, which I think is the weirdest, if you think about it too hard, it's a really weird term, but it's not for the faint of heart. And I've really learned the extent of what I can handle through caring for these beings that I am so lucky to share my life with. But yeah, so that's part of why things are so slow coming. It's so much work. It takes up so much time, like actual time. And then also for me mentally, it's hard for me to want to be camera facing, I guess, when things are hard, because it's hard it is hard for me to not show the way I feel on my face, and I know people can tell, and so it's hard for me to, just smile and act like everything's fine when it's not. Today I felt a little bit better just because, he's been to the vet. Feeny is really doing better. I feel like things are more under control. But yeah, I don't know. Also, yeah, I guess I'll just put this here because I don't know. I think sometimes people are confused by her name because I call her Feeny, but her like real government name is Phoenix, and that's why we call her that. And Caleb named her that because she rose from the ashes. So yeah, if you're ever confused, and also we call her like, you know, maybe if you have pets, you probably do this too, where they have like numerous nicknames. So, you know, she's most of the time Feeny, but she is also Feeny and Foo-Foo and Toot Toot and every other funny nickname. We also have this thing where I don't know, I want to say this stems from one of my friends many years ago, but now I don't totally remember. If Caleb was here, he would remind me, but we always like say it in like twos, like we'll call the animals like our big goat. Her name is Isabella. We often call her Mama Goat, but we also call her Goat Goat. So a lot of the animals, it's just like what animal they are twice, which is really weird. But so that's why it's like Fifi or Toot Toot or Foo Foo or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. The animal naming is, I feel like we started out, they were so like, you know, respectful and well thought out, and then, yeah, now they're just silly a lot of the time. I think that's most of my update. I wanted to like make a little list, but I didn't. I guess that's the whole story. I was gonna make a list of things to say, but I didn't. One thing I did want to touch on is that if you are here from Mackenzie, M to the third, from her video, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And I'm so grateful you could join me, and I feel so honored to have been included in that list. I love Mackenzie. I love her content. So I'll make sure she's tagged below, but if you like my content and I think I've mentioned her channel before, but if you have not made it over there, I highly recommend that you do. Again, it is M to the third. She also has Sibling Energy Podcast. So maybe I'm assuming you either came from there or you're familiar, but if you're not, I really recommend you check it out. Yeah, it's again, like so many beautiful connections have been made through the process of this that I could have never in a million years dreamed of. Yeah, and so I'm so grateful for that. I'm not sure if videos will be every week, but I'm thinking that I'll probably go back to my regular schedule of 3 weeks on, 1 week off. I was trying to do every 2 weeks, but every 2 weeks is kind of just like weird for me. It's like kind of not enough. And I feel like the months go by so fast. Yeah, so I don't know if every other week can work for me. Look forward to a farm vlog that is cooking related next week. I hope you're excited for that. I'm sure there will be other stuff sprinkled into that. And then look forward to a podcast in 2 weeks. But yeah, I really am going to end things here now. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you liked this video and you are not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We have a nice, friendly, happy family here. If you could give the video a thumbs up, that'd be really helpful. If you are looking for me elsewhere, I am on Instagram, I am on Ravelry, Goodreads, many other places, and all of those accounts will be linked down below in the description. Let me know what you've been up to. I have been really missing you guys. I'm really sorry with how slow it has been for me to answer comments. I know it's been taking me like 2 weeks to answer comments. Just know that I read them all as they come in. Sometimes I just don't have the mental capacity to answer them right away, but I read them. I appreciate them. Those of you that comment on every single video, I know your names. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, and I'm so grateful that you take your time to send me comments or messages. So I just wanted to make sure that you know that. And yeah, let me know what you've been up to. Are you guys knitting on anything? are you like, have you any of you finished the Audrey and Unst Fest? I know some of you test knit for it. Yeah, I think that's about it, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye bye.